Saturday, October 4, 1952. 8:47 p.m. Bumpy Johnson thrown off four-story building by 13 members of Westside Boys White Gang. 8:47 and 2 seconds p.m. Bumpy hits concrete. Survives. 9:15 p.m. Marcus Webb arrives. Organization mobilizes. 10:15 p.m. 37 men assembled. Arsenal distributed. Targets assigned. 10:45 p.m. Shooting begins. 5 locations simultaneously. 10:49 p.m. Shooting ends. 49 casualties. 0 survivors. 11:47 p.m. Bumpy in Freddy's clinic. Medical attention. 2 hours from assassination attempt to complete organizational annihilation. 2 hours from individual survival to collective elimination of every person involved. 2 hours from being thrown off building to erasing entire gang from existence. This is not revenge. This is Bumpy Johnson demonstrating that survival isn't enough. That resilience requires response. That attack triggers counterattack. Proportional. Overwhelming. Final. Red Malone gambled on eliminating Bumpy, removing obstacle, opening Harlem. He lost. He died. His organization died. His 48 men died. 4 minutes of shooting. 2 hours of timeline. Permanent consequences. What happened on October 4, 1952, proved something that changed how organized crime operated in New York. A man shot 12 times, thrown off a building, barely surviving on a Harlem sidewalk, can still orchestrate the execution of an entire criminal organization within 120 minutes. Not through luck. Through organization. Through loyalty. Through the knowledge that in Harlem, attacking one man means attacking an entire community. That Red Malone's mistake wasn't underestimating Bumpy's physical recovery. His mistake was underestimating how many people Bumpy Johnson had earned loyalty from through decades of protecting the neighborhood, providing security, and understanding that power built on fear is temporary. Power built on respect is permanent. October 4, 1952, proved that lesson in blood and mathematics. 49 dead. 0 survivors. 4 minutes. 2 hours. One message that lasted for decades in criminal networks across America. Do not touch Bumpy Johnson. Do not invade Harlem. Do not attempt what Red Malone attempted. Because the response will be overwhelming, coordinated, absolute, and you will not survive to regret it. This is power. This is what happens when a man thrown from a 4-story building doesn't accept defeat. This is Harlem's biggest shootout in history. This is why they called him the Godfather, 1952. 8:47 p.m. Harlem, New York. The rooftop of 2289 7th Avenue at West 134th Street. 4 stories up. 48 feet from concrete sidewalk below. Clear sky. Nearly full moon. Temperature 61 degrees. Bumpy Johnson stood at the center of the roof, surrounded. 13 men formed a semicircle around him. All white. All armed. Baseball bats. Crowbars. Tire irons. Weapons for close combat. Not guns. Guns would be too quick, too merciful. The gang called themselves the Westside Boys. Irish and Italian mix. Hell's Kitchen operators. Led by Patrick Red Malone. 34 years old. 6 feet tall. 195 pounds. Red hair. The nickname came from that. Violent reputation came from what he did with his hands. The Westside Boys controlled several blocks in Hell's Kitchen. Protection rackets. Loan sharking. Gambling disputes. But Harlem was not their territory. Harlem belonged to Bumpy Johnson. Everyone knew this. The Westside Boys knew this. They came anyway. 3 weeks earlier, September 13, a territorial dispute started. Simple. A numbers runner named Tommy DeLaqua worked the borderline between Hell's Kitchen and Harlem. West 57th to West 60th Street. Mixed neighborhood. Both organizations claimed it. Bumpy sent Marcus Webb with a message: the borderland was neutral. Tommy worked for Bumpy. The Westside Boys could operate their own runners, but they couldn't force Bumpy's runners out. Red Malone rejected the message. Sent his own response. Tommy DeLaqua was found in an alley on September 17. Both arms broken. Face unrecognizable. The message was delivered. The message was received. Bumpy's response was measured. 3 men. Hell's Kitchen. 2 Westside Boys collecting protection money from a bar. They were hospitalized. Similar injuries. Arms broken. Faces damaged. Equal response. Proportional. Professional. The conflict should have ended there. Mutual damage. Mutual respect. Move forward. But Red Malone didn't see it that way. He saw disrespect. A black man striking white men on their own territory. He decided to end it permanently. Remove Bumpy Johnson. Harlem would fragment without him. Easier to take over piece by piece. The plan was simple: lure Bumpy to a meeting on neutral territory. Discuss peace. Then ambush. Kill him. Dump the body. Claim ignorance. The meeting was arranged for Saturday, October 4, 8:30 p.m. Location, 2289 7th Avenue. 4-story building. Ground floor, vacant storefront. Second and third floors, residential apartments. 4th floor, storage. Rooftop access via fire escape. The building's owner owed Red Malone money. Significant debt. He provided keys. He provided access. He provided the location for murder. Bumpy arrived at 8:35 p.m. 5 minutes late. Deliberate. Never arrive exactly on time. Maintain control of timing. He came alone as requested. Neutral meeting meant minimal security. Professional courtesy. He climbed the fire escape. Standard practice. Front entrance too visible. Fire escape more discreet. He reached the rooftop at 8:42 p.m. Red Malone was there with 12 other men. 13 total. All armed. Bumpy understood immediately. This wasn't a meeting. This was an execution. Red Malone smiled. Bumpy Johnson. Glad you could make it. We have some things to discuss about respect. About Tommy DeLaqua. About my men in Hell's Kitchen. His tone was casual. Conversational. The tone of someone in complete control. Someone about to win. Bumpy assessed the situation. 13 men armed. Surrounding him. Rooftop 4 stories up. 1 fire escape exit blocked by men. No other escape. Fighting wasn't viable. 13 versus 1. Even Bumpy couldn't win those odds. But Bumpy Johnson didn't flinch. Didn't show fear. Respect. Interesting word coming from someone who ambushes instead of negotiates, Bumpy said. His voice was calm. No tremor. No fear. Negotiation is for equals, Red said. You're not my equal. You're a Negro running numbers in Harlem. I'm expanding my territory. Your territory. Simple economics. You're in the way. I'm removing the obstacle. Red pulled a pistol from his jacket. Not for shooting. For intimidation. For emphasis. The 12 other men moved closer, tightening the circle. Bumpy noticed details. 3 men on his left had bats. 2 on his right had crowbars. 1 behind him had a tire iron. 6 others had various weapons. All positioned to prevent escape. Professional setup. Well planned. Red Malone had done this before. Here's what happens next, Bumpy, Red said, enjoying the explanation. My boys are going to demonstrate what happens when you disrespect the Westside Boys. They're going to break some bones. Damage that face. Make you an example. Then we're going to throw you off this roof. 4 stories. 48 feet. Concrete below. You might survive the fall. Probably won't. Either way, you're finished. Can't run Harlem from a hospital bed. Can't run anything with a broken spine. Bumpy calculated. Fighting would result in beating followed by being thrown off the roof. Not fighting would result in beating followed by being thrown off the roof. Same outcome, different timeline. But then Bumpy did something unexpected. He moved toward the edge of the roof. Not away from the gang. Toward the ledge. Taking control of the sequence. Forcing a decision. Red Malone was surprised. Expected begging. Expected fear. Got defiance instead. So do it, Bumpy said. You've got 13 men and all this planning. Either beat me first or throw me now. Stop talking about it. Red nodded to the men nearest Bumpy. 4 men moved simultaneously. Grabbed his arms, his jacket, his belt. Physical control. They dragged him to the roof edge. The ledge was 18 inches high. Brick solid. Below was 7th Avenue. Sidewalk. Some pedestrians visible. Not many. Saturday evening. Bumpy didn't resist. Resistance was futile. 4 men holding him. 9 others watching. They lifted him. Swung him. Used momentum. Threw him off the building. Saturday, October 4, 1952. 8:47 p.m. Bumpy Johnson left the rooftop at approximately 15 miles per hour horizontal velocity. Gravity took over. Acceleration 32 feet per second squared. The fall took 1.7 seconds. Speed at impact approximately 35 miles per hour. Force equivalent to a car crash. Survivability minimal but not zero. Bumpy had 1.7 seconds of awareness. Training took over. Fall training. Every professional criminal learned this. How to fall. How to minimize injury. Protect the head. Protect the spine. Tuck. Roll if possible. Distribute impact. He tucked, pulled arms in, turned slightly, tried to angle for leg impact first. Not head. Not spine. Legs could break. Could be repaired. Head or spine injury was permanent. He hit the sidewalk at 8:47 and 2 seconds p.m. 2 seconds after leaving the roof. Left leg first. Then left hip. Then left shoulder. Then rolled. Distributed the impact across multiple points instead of one catastrophic point. Physics worked in his favor mostly. Left femur fractured. Clean break. Hip dislocated. Painful but reparable. Shoulder separated. Also reparable. Head remained protected. No skull fracture. No brain trauma. Spine remained intact. No paralysis. No severing. Pain was immediate. Overwhelming. Total. But Bumpy was conscious. Alive. Functional. Unlikely, but true. Pedestrians screamed. Ran toward him. Ran away from him. Confusion. A man had just fallen from a building or jumped or been thrown. Unclear, but definitely catastrophic. Someone ran to a pay phone. Called police. Called ambulance. Standard response, man down. Need help. On the rooftop, Red Malone and his gang looked over the edge. Saw Bumpy on the sidewalk. Not moving much. Probably dead. Maybe dying. Mission accomplished. They left quickly. Down the fire escape. Into waiting cars. Drove away back to Hell's Kitchen. Celebrate. Bumpy Johnson eliminated. Harlem available. Expand territory. Profit. On the sidewalk, Bumpy assessed damage. Left leg broken. Couldn't walk. Left hip dislocated. Couldn't stand. Left shoulder separated. Couldn't push up. But right side mostly functional. Right arm worked. Right leg worked. Could drag himself slowly, painfully, but possible. He looked around. Pedestrians standing back, scared, uncertain. A black man had fallen from a building in Harlem in 1952. Police would come. Ambulance would come. Questions would be asked. Bumpy couldn't be here when they arrived. Being found injured meant hospital. Hospital meant police reports. Police reports meant vulnerability. His enemies would know he was incapacitated. Would know where he was. Would finish what Red Malone started. Help me, Bumpy's voice was weak. Pain made speaking difficult. But he needed help. Needed to move. Needed to disappear before authorities arrived. A woman approached. Mid-40s. Lived in the neighborhood. Recognized Bumpy. Everyone in Harlem knew Bumpy Johnson. Mr. Johnson, what happened? You need ambulance. You need hospital. No hospital. No police. Help me to that alley. Please. I'll explain later. Just help me move now. Bumpy was already dragging himself using his right arm, pulling his body inches at a time toward the alley between buildings. Dark. Hidden. Away from the street. The woman helped. Grabbed under his right arm. Supported some weight. Together, they got him into the alley 10 feet from the sidewalk to darkness. 10 feet. That took 2 minutes. Excruciating, but necessary. Hidden now. Safe temporarily. Police sirens approached. Growing louder. Closer. Someone had called it in. Response time maybe 4 minutes. Normal for Harlem. Police were coming. Would find nothing. Nobody. Just bystanders saying a man fell, then vanished. Unsolvable. Bumpy gave the woman a phone number. Marcus Webb's number. Call this. Tell him I'm in the alley behind 2289 7th, tell him Red Malone. Tell him bring everyone. Tell him bring everything. Tell him 2 hours. Can you do that? The woman nodded. Ran to the pay phone. Made the call. Delivered the message. Exactly. Marcus Webb answered. Heard the message. Understood immediately. Bumpy was hurt. Red Malone was responsible. Everyone meant every soldier Bumpy had. Everything meant every weapon available. 2 hours meant timeline. Prepare. Organize. Execute. Marcus hung up. Started making calls. 8:50 p.m. Saturday, October 4, 1952. In the alley, Bumpy waited. Pain was testing his focus. Left leg throbbed. Hip sent sharp signals. Shoulder burned. But consciousness was mandatory. Passing out meant vulnerability. Being found meant losing control. He controlled breathing. In through nose. Out through mouth. Slow. Measured. Pain management through focus. Mind over body. Not eliminating pain. Channeling it. Using it. Staying sharp. Staying aware. Marcus Webb arrived at 9:15 p.m. Brought 3 men. Brought a car. Pulled into the alley. Found Bumpy. Assessment was quick. You need a doctor. No doctors. No hospitals. Not yet. First, we handle Red Malone. Then medical. How many men can you gather in 1 hour? Bumpy's voice was stronger now. Anger was fueling him. Rage was medicating better than morphine. Physical pain was real, but secondary. The primary focus was retribution. Red Malone thought throwing Bumpy off a building would eliminate the problem. Would open Harlem. Would enable expansion. Wrong. Throwing Bumpy off a building just declared war. Just started something that would end with Red Malone and his entire gang erased. Not beaten. Not damaged. Erased. 30 men. Maybe 35. Depends who's available Saturday night. Some are working. Some are out. But I can get 30 for sure. Get 35. Use 90 minutes instead of 60. I need that time anyway. Marcus was already calculating. 35 men with significant force. Enough for an assault. Enough for a war. Bumpy explained what happened. Rooftop. 13 men. Red Malone. The throw. The landing. The survival. The message. Red thinks I'm dead or hospitalized or broken. He thinks Harlem is vulnerable. He's wrong. We're going to Hell's Kitchen. We're going to every location the Westside Boys operate. Every bar. Every gambling den. Every protection client. Every single place they collect money or conduct business. And we're going to shoot everything. Everyone. Every person affiliated with Red Malone dies tonight. No survivors. No witnesses. No continuation. The Westside Boys end tonight. Marcus understood. This was beyond standard retaliation. This was annihilation. Total. Complete. The warning was clear, this would bring massive police attention, multiple shootings across Hell's Kitchen, federal scrutiny, headlines for days. Bumpy Johnson didn't care. He wanted every person in New York to understand the cost of coming after him. Red Malone had gambled and lost. His gang, his name, and his future would end that night, completely. Within 90 minutes, Marcus Webb organized the largest operation Harlem had ever executed. 37 men assembled, armed for war. This wasn't a hit. It was an invasion. 5 teams were formed, each assigned a critical Westside Boys location. The plan was simple and brutal: strike simultaneously, overwhelm resistance, and vanish before authorities could respond. At 10:45 p.m. on October 4, 1952, Hell's Kitchen erupted. 5 coordinated attacks unfolded within 4 minutes. Taverns, gyms, gambling dens, garages, and back rooms became kill zones. The assaults were precise, disciplined, and final. When the shooting stopped, 49 Westside Boys were dead. There were no survivors, and no casualties on Harlem's side. Police arrived minutes later to scenes of devastation and confusion. 5 locations. Dozens of bodies. No shooters. No witnesses willing to talk. The scale was unprecedented. The NYPD launched a major task force. Federal involvement was discussed. 6 months of investigation produced nothing. No arrests. No convictions. Bumpy Johnson watched it all from a car, injured but in command. Leadership, he believed, wasn't about presence, it was about will. Afterward, he was taken to a secure location to recover. Within months, he returned to Harlem, visible and unchallenged. The Westside Boys ceased to exist. Their territory dissolved. Their name vanished. Other gangs moved carefully, but no one crossed Harlem. The message was understood. Years later, journalists would call it the night Hell's Kitchen burned. Officially unsolved. Unofficially unquestioned. Everyone knew why it happened, and what it meant. Attack Bumpy Johnson, and annihilation follows. Completely. Permanently.